Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I thought I would just share a bit about my film composer journey. So the reason why I'm doing this is because on my Instagram, I really feel like all the posts that I've made just get lost in the algorithm, get lost in the feed, and I don't think it did a really good job at capturing my journey in detail. I've been posting on there for a long time, like since 2020, and I really want to share my journey again, but be more personal about it and give more details, because I think what I did on Instagram is very, very surface level, and man, so many things have happened. I just want to do one big update and also celebrate where I came from. So my journey as a composer really didn't start until I was in my 20s. My parents made me take piano lessons when I was little. I was 8 years old, and I actually really loved doing piano, but pursuing composing was never really an option for me. My parents constantly told me that art was a luxury. It was something that you did for fun. It wasn't something that you could do to pay your bills. They basically made it seem like, art was for rich people, and that until I had money, I was in no position to do art, like in a serious way, wanting it to be my career and everything. So, since I was young, I never really thought about film composing, especially, although I did grow up loving film music and, classical music. Everything was pretty chaotic for me growing up. I'm Filipino American, and I was also a military kid. My family and I traveled all over the world. We lived in Europe. We lived in, different states here in the US, and I could never keep a piano teacher for longer than like a year or two. And so, every time I tried to sit down and learn something, I think it felt like I had to start over again, and there was no consistency in my life. And then the second thing is that it was really hard to make friends because you were constantly moving and having to start over again. So, I don't think I really had a core group of friends or, support where I could share my dreams and feel like people believed in me. It really felt like, I was constantly the new kid. I constantly was behind, and, it was really stressful. That's what I'll say. But, I did try composing when I was 11 years old, and, I didn't have a laptop, didn't have GarageBand, Sibelius, or anything. I was just noodling around on the piano and imitating music that I liked, which was, anime, openings, endings, OSTs. I would print out bootleg sheet music, try and get away with what I could on the internet back then. I would, make up stuff and never write it down. I remember trying to ask one of my piano teachers when I was 14 or 15 if she could teach me how to write down my music, but I felt like really insecure even asking that, because it felt like, I can read music, why can't I just write it? It felt like a stupid thing to ask, like you can read but you can't write. And for a long time that really held me back. I didn't know that there was such thing as Logic Pro and Ableton and Cubase. I thought, like, if I couldn't write it down on a piece of paper, that composing was just not serious. Like, I was just making it up until I was 20 years old. I met my partner, and that changed everything for me. I was moving to university for the first time, and so I left my parents' influence, and this was a really big turning point for me to surround myself with different people, people who had different goals than I did and that my parents wanted for me. So I met my partner, and he was in the process of dropping out of school to become a designer. And thankfully, he's super successful now, and I'm really proud of him. But, he was the first person that I really met that was going against what everyone said that we should do with our lives. And that being, go to school, get a good degree, get a job, and be successful. Like, that was the formula. And he created his own path, and that really inspired me. And I really feel like if I had not met him, I would not be a composer today. So I'm super, super grateful. But I think that just goes to say that your environment and who you surround yourself with, if you have a choice, it really makes a big difference. And my mindset and my life really changed ever since I met him. And I'm really grateful to have his support even today as a composer and entrepreneur. Since graduating school in 2020, which, by the way, I went to school to become a scientist in the healthcare field, not like, blowing up stuff and, I don't know what other scientists do. But since then, I've composed for 20 different projects, including short films, feature films, and podcasts. And just to include some of the highlights, recently I got to experience my music in this iconic theater. I also got to experience my music at USC. And back then I really wanted to go to USC as a student for the screen scoring program, but I ended up going there anyways because of a project I worked on, and that was really special. And it's just really funny. Sometimes you wind up in places in a different way than you thought you would. I guess I thought that I would be there as a student, and I ended up going there as a film composer. I think most of all, I'm really proud of all the insecurities and doubts I've overcome. I used to really beat myself up over not sounding, like insert famous composer, and, not having my music played by a live orchestra and not having a degree and all those kinds of things. I really don't think any of that matters. I think just doing the work of composing and putting myself out there was everything that I needed to do, and I would not be here without that and everyone who has ever supported me. So yeah, that's my journey, and it's still going. I am currently composing for a feature film and some beautiful short films that are really special to me as a Filipino American. And yeah, if you guys made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I just want to share one more thing. I'm working on something called the Gig Hunting Kit. The idea is to capture everything that I've learned over the years and shared in the form of Instagram content, and also the workshops that I've been holding, trying to teach how I find work. And I'm in the process of writing the PDF guide that accompanies the recording of the workshop and, some other bonus goodies. I'm really excited to share this, and it's still a work in progress. But if you want to keep up with me and the progress I'm making on the Gig Hunting Kit, please follow me on Instagram and subscribe to my free newsletter, Instagram to Media Composing Gigs 101, link in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.